Hi, good evening, and welcome to Vine Street Studios once again. I'm Charlie McGowan. Peter will be joining us shortly. He's just in the garage there or in his office. An issue. Sorry about that. Not really sure what occurred there, but I have to go back to last week and explain what occurred uh, and apologise for the sort of breakdown in the production. Uh, Peter and I had arranged to go out for a drive in his car. And I did a bit of filming, asked a number of questions, and you'll see that shortly. But we were in his garage trying to uh, do the scheduled episode, and it was just a failure, unfortunately. And all I can say is that I spoke with um, StreamYard, and they said, well, we must urge everybody to use a solid Wi-Fi connection. Well, not Wi-Fi, but if you hardwire it, because Wi-Fi is not guaranteed, and unfortunately, that's what's occurred. So we're trying to work around it, and it seems to work in this format where I'm here in the studio and Peter's in the garage or in his office, and we can make it work, or it gets on to StreamYard and runs smoothly this way, as opposed to two of us sitting in his garage.
Jules,
Anyway, um,
Jules,
we're going to be jumping into Peter's office in a second, and we've got some film footage for you. We're going to be asking some questions as we drive around, but I urge all you enthusiasts out there to jump in with your questions, and and try and stretch it so that we have to answer a good or difficult question. Anyway, we're just going to head over to Peter's and try and bring him in here. Good evening, Peter. Good evening, Peter.
how you doing, Charlie?
Oh, good, thank you. I'm not sure what happened, a little bit of a glitch there, but that's sort of par for the course, and we're learning through the process. And I was just saying, I don't know if you could hear me, but I was just saying to our massive audience out there
Yeah,
how challenging it is, and that I did speak with StreamYard, and it's a question of, do you have it hardwired, because that's their best practice, as they would say. Um, anyway, we're here. It seems to be working, and we'll proceed from here. So I think we should talk about moving forward, because you've conveyed a lot of information that many enthusiasts out there, I'm sure, would have found useful. And you told me last week, or in the middle of the week, that you'd been in touch with one of the viewers out there. Maybe you can tell us about that.
yeah. Actually, it was a nice gentleman I met online regarding. He has a car that I've been looking at, a really nice car. I'm still thinking about it, and he ended up saying that what he did watch our show, or did I guess see it on Facebook and tuned into it. But a really nice gentleman, and hopefully we can work something out with regards to his car. It's a unique car, something that I'm not used to, but yeah, and it was really funny to hear that that he watched and he saw the portrait that you drew of one of the cars too, Charlie.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's nice to see that there's some people that tune in, and even if it's just for 15, 20 minutes, at least they can engage with us, and it's nice to see that. that we can help at some point.
Yeah, that's true. Because we know there are people out there watching. We can see the numbers on YouTube after the show here, and
Mm-hmm.
it grows over the couple of days following. It's not a huge number, but I think what's happening is there are enthusiasts out there who've noticed us and tune in regular,
Hmm.
and that's a good thing. People tuning in regular, and then word of mouth gets out, and then you begin to grow a bit more. But we have to encourage them to participate and just pose a question or say, "Hi, how are you?" That type of stuff.
Right.
So
So,
um, anyway, so I think what we should do is jump into the video we made of you and I going out on the car and driving around, and this will really give people the feel, the sound, the atmosphere of being in your car and driving it. It was
yeah, it was.
quite an experience. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun doing that. I wish we could do more of it, but obviously, with some of the challenges we had last week, it becomes pretty difficult for two old guys like us to try and figure it out. But as we move along and we continue to try it and try different things, I'm sure we'll get to a point where we can start getting a little bit more hands on different things. I like the idea of being in the garage and looking at different things and showing. Visual is always much better than just theory, but it's nice to see that when you get in there and you start looking at things, that I mean, I think we'll have a little bit better success. And that drive last week that you suggested, Charlie, it was nice to get out there anyway with you and try to keep the car in the middle of the lanes while we're chatting, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's floating around. Yeah. 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 And I think in terms of quality production, I think what we're going to uh, sort of engage in is regular recording and footage of the car. Now, the only way to do that at this point in time to ensure we get the quality product out there is for me to pop over and do a bit of filming, come back here, edit it, and then get it ready for the show.
Right.
I think that's the best format because
Yeah.
otherwise, it's going to be a recorded show, and we'll just put it out there.
Right.
Right? That would be the alternative. And to be fair to the audience or whoever's watching, we just have to be cognizant of that and think about it.
Yeah, and I think
Right?
Rome wasn't built in a day, Charlie. So we're not big, we're not young anymore but at the end of the day, we're
Speak for
just trying
yourself.
to set it up. We're trying to set it up so we can offer some information. I think when hopefully we get to a point sometime down the road where customers start engaging some questions, which helps the episodes get through even better because now you're focusing on something. He asked, you get questions asked. It's then you can you can pick my brain and I can offer recommendations and suggestions or where to find things and what this number means and yeah, and it's all good.
Yeah, and there was, I think, that first show that we did. Um, uh, I think there was a guy from the UK that
Mm-hmm.
joined in. I think he was from London, England, right? So that was far-reaching,
Mm-hmm.
and it was an unusual time because it would have been 1 o'clock in the morning. But
Right.
I guess if you're a night owl, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So there's
But
one of our.
believe it or not, Charlie, there's a lot of these cars all over the world. Believe it or not, in Europe, in Australia, in Dubai, there's cars all over the world on these first generation Camaros as so obviously it's a matter of engaging these individuals and these potential viewers and once they tune in, like if we can offer a decent a decent podcast or product that they can learn something from again, yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah, for sure. Because I've been communicating with a guy in Brazil, in Sao Paulo.
I saw that.
So there you go. We just had a comment from, I see one of our regular fans, and she says, a good-looking lady. She says, "Hi guys, just shared this to Twitter. Lots of guys on there might be interested." Right.
There you go.
Thanks very much. Yeah. So, oh, and there's Kristen McGowan. I wonder if she's related. She said, "Wait till you can take this podcast to the summer car shows. That will be fun." Yeah, absolutely. Once again, would be, we could have a table set up there and we'd be chatting to the other guys. But, remember, there'd be no Wi-Fi there. We're going to have to solve that, or even just record and then include it on Sunday evening, just as we're doing with this. Yeah, so there's always a way. Anyway, let's see if we can get in.
It was funny, Charlie. It was I went out on Friday night. Paul and I went out for a bite to eat, and we brought 2 lawn chairs. I drove one of the cars there, and we parked it in the parking lot. We opened up the lawn chairs, and we had supper there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And how did that go?
Very good. Had a bunch of people come around the car and looking at it while we were eating, asking questions. So, once the people see it and it's out there and you can touch it, you can look at it, it's so much better.
Yeah, but did you say, "Hey, by the way, Charlie and I do a Sunday night show. Here's where you can find us"? Did you say that? It's all about marketing, right?
He asked me for if I was Charlie McGowan. Says, "I need your autograph." I said, "No, I'm not Charlie. I'm Peter."
Charlie's got longer hair. Yeah, right.
Anyway, all good. But yeah, I agree with Kristen. Once we hopefully they open up a little bit, and like I said, I'm going to be hosting a cruise with a bunch of cars, probably in the middle to the end of June. So we can do that too, Charlie. We can you can jump in and do some videotaping. We stream it and then edit it and put it on screen.
Yeah, we'll do that. So talking about out in the car, let's just check this out, Peter. Hi, I'm at Peter's place and he's just bringing the car out, and we're going to go for a little drive and check it out and see how it's performing. So I'll just wait until he gets out here and then I'll jump in. Okay, Peter, let's go for a drive.
Go for a drive.
So, what kind of belt is that up there?
That's that's your shoulder belt.
Oh, I see.
So you have an extra belt here that you grab, you pull up, and it gives you your shoulder. Yep.
Oh, okay. So how does it sound?
Sounds very good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just gonna let it warm up a little bit, Charlie.
Yeah.
2 engines were the Trans Am series engine, in order to meet the same specifications of the 5-liter displacement, and they're a very high, very short stroke, high revving engine, right?
So what are you going up to there?
Oh, just 5,000. But that's nothing. Like, if you really want to go with it, no problem. 7,500, 7,800.
Yeah. So I saw this video about a Camaro, and the guy was nearly up on 2 wheels going around the corner.
Was that me?
No, it wasn't you, no.
So, on 2 wheels, tell me a little bit about what do you mean 2 wheels, Charlie?
Well, it wasn't really, just the body was leaning way over.
Oh, yeah.
Must have been something with the suspension.
These ones here are a little bit different. Yeah, look at it. This place is always jammed.
So Peter, let's talk a little bit about the tires. So what do you have here?
So these cars here in '68, they came with a bias ply tire. They're not radials, and they came E70-15. So they're for the time they were wide. They were a 70 series, but Obviously, they don't handle like a bias fly. That's why sometimes when you're driving, have a tendency to wander with the crevices in the road. But it's just, for me, I like the look, and and they actually don't drive that bad either. So it's just a matter of what you're doing, what you're doing with the car. That's all.
Yeah. So we're going up Yonge Street here, which is the main drag in Ontario. It goes north and south from Toronto.
One of the longest highways, isn't it, Charlie?
Yeah, it goes all the way. It takes you right up to the Trans-Canada Highway.
Wow. Have you ever done that route before, Charlie?
No, I've gone part of the way up, not all the way up. So I had a guy online asking me if I sketched Firebirds as opposed to Camaros. So what do you think about the Firebird?
Firebird is it's basically the almost the same body style as the Camaro, same concept, but being a Pontiac, they ran a different drivetrain, different engine in it. They went with the Pontiac engine rather than the Chevy engine. Great car, lots of torque. And I don't know, for whatever reason, unless it's the Trans Am, the 69 Trans Am is one of the most sought after cars, big dollar car right now.
Yeah, the one with the big bird.
Yes, the big bird and the big wing on the back. It's the 69 one is it's very rare too, Charlie. But the Firebirds are very similar to the Camaros. Not much difference other than the drivetrain, a little bit the engine and the body styling with the grille.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's the same concept.
So is that a special wheel, Peter?
Actually, this one here is a walnut wheel. Came with the N68s. It was an option for the car. Typically, they came with the 3-spoke, just a black or blue that was color coded with the car. It was plastic, like a urethane. Yeah. And then they had the walnut wheel, and then in '69 was the rosewood. Big, very expensive.
Okay, Peter, that was a superb ride. Thanks very much. Sounded great, and wow, the car looks fabulous.
Thank you, Charlie. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Supposed to show you what some hard work, a little bit of patience, and knowing what you want, we can come out to.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get to this.
No problem.
Well, there you go. That was really very, very good.
Wow, good job. Another Francis Ford Coppola in the making.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, panning around there.
So nice.
I don't know about those shorts, Peter. Where did you get those shorts?
What's that? Oh, the shorts. Yeah, those are. They're just my go-to shorts when nice weather. Just put them on, and away you go. You don't have to worry about it, right? Try to bring a little bit of the youth back.
Yeah, me too.
I got an extra pair if you want them.
Yeah, no thanks. I'm going to get the tea leaves out and change the colour a wee bit here. I went early.
Right on.
So
that was
yeah. So that was good, and yeah. So I hope everybody got a good buzz about that. So you told me a story about you were after another car, and the guy sort of let you down. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, you know what? This is going back to what we talked in one of the original episodes, Charlie. When you're out looking for cars and finding the right car, finding the right seller. It turned out to be a little bit of a nightmare. I found a car with a gentleman in the U.S. And like I said, I've purchased so many cars and never had any issues with the transport or pickup or drop off. So I ended up finding a car. We had made the deal and sent him a deposit. It was all done. It was arranging the transport company to send it out to get picked up. And obviously he had the ad still posted. So I told him, I said, listen, at the end of the day, we made a deal. Why is the ad, still up? Oh, I forgot to take it down. I'll take it down. Don't worry about it. So it kept going and going and going. And it got to a point where, the ad hadn't come down. So I tried to get a hold of him, wouldn't answer, back and forth, day after day, calling him, say, you know what, listen, I got everything ready to go here. The transport company is waiting on my green light to go. And finally, I got a hold of the guy, and he says to me, he goes, "Oh, he goes, I don't know if it's sold on the site there." And he says, I mean, I didn't think you were serious. How can I not be? I sent you a deposit on the car. I wired you the money for the deposit as we spoke and what you wanted, right?" And anyway, so to make a long story short, he stumbled his way around it, and apparently sold it to somebody else. And it looks like it came back online again because obviously that guy bailed on it. And
Well,
so I just sent him a nice email to explain to him, you know what, there's a code of conduct when doing business. Like if we make a deal, like I've done with all my other cars, you make a deal, you send a deposit down, no problem. Whatever it is you ask for, I send it to you, and then we make the final transaction 2 weeks before the car gets picked up, and then the day it gets picked up, you wire the rest of the money. And I thought it was a done deal, but obviously not. And I was really upset and pissed off. Like it was pretty discouraging, right?
yeah, I'm sure, and that's a sort of red light for any person that's interested in getting a car,
Mm-hmm.
especially if it's out of province, out of state, out of country.
Right.
Being out of country, in your particular case, uh, added a couple of different levels of complexity.
Yeah.
And as you say, a gentleman's agreement and, you know, some level of trust has to be agreed upon. And
Right.
obviously, this chap wasn't much of a gentleman at the end
And
of
you
the
know
day.
what? Being across the border, Charlie. Thank God, he PayPal me my deposit back. Because sometimes you see those things go away, right?
Oh,
And
absolutely.
that's the biggest challenge right now with the borders being closed. You know, a lot of the cars that I chase or I look for are they're sight unseen. You're relying on people to use their eyes for your you ask the right questions. And even got to a point where the guy said to me, he goes, "Oh, you were asking too many questions." Well, hang on a second. I want to buy the car. I'm willing to pay you the money you asked me and never negotiated nothing and say, you know what, that's what you want. I'm interested in the car. Let's do the deal. I'll send you a deposit. No problem. And then all of a sudden he must have got a little bit more on the ad and he ended up using me as an insurance that the car was going to sell. And he ended up getting a few bucks more, which was petty, like petty difference, right?
Yeah, that,
And
that can always come back and bite him in the bum.
yeah, you know what? It wasn't very professional. Like when if I
Yeah,
deal with somebody, I try to be as honest as possible. I'm not. I don't go crazy and lowball people or knock their product down or their car. It is what it is, right? If that's what you're asking
yeah,
for, we negotiate. If we come to terms, it's done. If we don't come to terms, that's good for both of us. Then just say, you know what, it's not for sale. I can't sell it to you for that money, and I'm good with it. I'm good with it. But don't
yeah,
accept. And then this is a good point for and a good educational thing for other people. If you make a deal and you don't want to sell the car because you're still think you can get more for it, then don't make the deal. Don't ask me for a deposit, right? And make me go through the whole thing and wait 5 days to get the
yeah.
wire money back. It's just it's nonsense. But anyway, it was a frustrating ordeal for me. But obviously, it wasn't very. The guy wasn't very professional, and obviously he needs to learn a lot.
Yeah, and it happens in other areas and levels. Like here's an example. Uh, I do this British model railway thing, and talking with people in that community, um, eBay's prices have gone sort of through the roof. But not just that,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the cost of postage between here in the States and here in the UK is horrendous. And I think part of the reason is people were making an offer, um, sending money, and getting the whatever it was they bought sent over here to Canada. And then what they were doing was uh, they were calling eBay and say, "Hey, this thing never arrived." And then they'd contact the seller and say the same thing. "I want my money back." And it was a scam. People were saying they never got the item, and then they were asking for the money back. And the agreement with eBay is that you will get your money refunded should you have any complications and not receive whatever it was you agreed to buy. And as a consequence, I think eBay ended up with all these excessive repayments that they had to make to all these sellers. So then what they did was they said, okay, you need to get your buyer to sign for and to insure whatever it is they're purchasing. And so the costs went through the roof.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it's just a case of really doing your groundwork and trying to get a feel of the person that you're dealing with. Is this going to go through? Do I get a bad feeling about this? And if
Yeah.
you do, you just have to walk away because
Yeah.
you just don't know what you're getting into otherwise. And as you said, the borders are closed.
Yep. It started off well, and then as it progressed, the longer it took, the longer I started to realize, you know what, hey, this is, I mean, this is something that's not right. He's got my money now, and as a deposit to hold the car, and I started to see it started to go south, Charlie. So I was fortunate to get my deposit back, but again, it was just it wasn't meant to be. So I just walk away. And like I said, regardless which car that I find, I want to make sure it's the right car. I don't want to give people the runaround. And you're honest, right? If somebody asks
Yeah,
you, what you want to pay for the car, unless you're 100% sure and you want to make that deal, then you just you hold on and you wait and you think about it, and you take your chance. If the car sells before you, then it is what it is. But I like to do my homework. I like to digest it and think it over. It's not like you're spending $500. These cars can be pretty expensive to start, and that doesn't you can't even look into consideration what if it needs any work or eventually you want to restore the car. You have to make sure that you're still within the money, right?
yeah, yeah. So yeah, this is the sixth episode that we're in now,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really quite an achievement because many people go, "Oh, I want to be a podcaster. I want to be a podcaster." Get the earphones off and on and do the bit, but many of them don't go past the first or second one. So
Mm-hmm.
we've done well to get this far, and we're not going to stop now. I think moving forward, what we will do is I will come up once a week maybe and do some filming and we'll pick a topic subject and we'll chat about it, film it, and then I'll edit it and we'll get in this format because I think it's a good format and it certainly captures people's interest as soon as you show the car and the car driving, right? And
Yeah,
then
and that's
being in the car, right?
what I was excited about, Charlie, too. Like, hopefully
Mm.
in the next maybe couple of weeks, a month, I'll land something. And then once it lands here, now we have a good thing that we can actually, start with that car there. My gold car, spoke to the body guy, actually sent me a text today, said he's working on it. It's progressing. So hopefully, once that's back, then we'll have a lot of stuff to show and on the assembly and what the car looked like before to what it is now. It'll be really nice.
Yeah,
And if
and
I
then
can land something in the next month or so, then
yeah,
we have something a little earlier, right? So
yeah, and people can then begin to put it all together in their head. Oh yeah, I should look for this tag, and it should be there, and there should be a stamp there, and so on and so forth, and it'll all make sense,
mhm.
right? Um,
Yep.
I'm just going to see if I've got. I think I've got another little film. I'm just going to try this.
Peter, I see you've got West Coast Customs up there on your wall. I know you've been there a couple of times. Quite the place, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing. I had the pleasure of meeting Ryan a few times when I went down to see Christian. It's just stellar in what he has done down there, and what he's managed to accomplish with these old cars and the customization of different things, from fabrication to restoration. Yeah, it's just phenomenal how these classic cars and these customization has continues even up to now.
Yeah, and all from a one-man shop.
Yeah, and he started it from his dad, and I guess from what he told me, and slowly he got into it. And I remember watching the episodes back in the day when it was Pimp My Ride, and it evolved into there. Yeah, and I had the pleasure to meet Ryan and the shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, and I've had that pleasure too, I must admit. And you know, the post regular little videos, and Musa was showing. I saw one this morning where he was doing a sketch of the car, and then the owner was picking the car up after it had been done. So that was really interesting, and yeah,
No,
very exciting.
It's always something to see when you see cars from going from one extreme to another. It's just the satisfaction and the pride that you take, and you feel when it's all completed, right?
Yeah.
Had we started this podcast when I first got my gold car, it would have been actually really cool to do.
Yeah, well, that's so by the by, as you say, and got around to it, and we made the quantum leap, and here we are, and I you know, I'm sure people are enjoying this because we're two funny guys on top of being good looking and intelligent. So yeah,
Good looking anyway. I don't know about intelligent.
well, we just threw that one in for good measure, right? So yeah, the meet that you're organising, we'll schedule that. We'll come up with a plan to do that. But in the meantime, I think we'll close off now because I think we've captivated the audience here, and we'll move forward to, you know, something going on next week, and just ask people, you know, spread the word. If you know people that are interested in this type of car, they might want to jump in on a Sunday evening and listen to Peter and I, and maybe pick up some tips and hints. So, and once again, I apologize for the technical issues that we experienced last week, but they're behind us, and we're moving forward, and we'll continue the podcast on a weekly basis, and try and bring you good value and interesting subject matter when it comes to restoring your Camaro. So we're signing off from Vine Street Studios. I'm Charlie McGowan, and
Peter. Thanks, Charlie. Always a pleasure. I will keep you posted for the dates for that cruise. And it's a drive that even Joanne can come on. We can make and then we stop for lunch too. So it comes up to be a really nice day if we get some great weather. It's a brutal cruise, and you see people coming out looking at the cars. It'll be really nice. So I'm hopefully to get maybe between 10 to 20 cars from all different makes and models. And it was last year I did. It was really fun.
Well, that's great. Looking forward to that. So just a reminder to everybody, give us a big thumbs up. It really helps. And we'll see you again. And I'm just going to run this little video for a minute or two. See you next time. Bye for now.
Bye, Charlie. Thank you.